Good afternoon all. This pre-trial review is in the matter of CFI 053-2022, which is being held by way of video conferencing before His Excellency Justice Sir Jeremy Cooke, with the sitting of the hearing taking place in Dubai. Any order or directions made during the course of or after this hearing will be issued by the registry in Dubai on the judge's instructions. The claimant is represented by Al Suwaidi and Company. Lead counsel is Mr. Mohammed Al Suwaidi. The defendant is represented by Consulis Law. Lead counsel is Mr. Mohammed Raza Mithani. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. I gather you both thought probably we didn't need this pre-trial review, but it seems to me sensible to have a look at it and make sure we know where we are. And in particular, I want to be quite clear about what the issues are going to be and what evidence there is truly going to be. So looking at the pre-trial checklists, I see that Mr. Al Suwaidi says that it's contemplated the claimant will rely on 3 witnesses of fact at trial, one of whom will be the claimant himself. If this is going to be the case, then we need to know who the other witnesses are and whether witness fact evidence has been served. What's the position?
We have Mr. Ahmed Sha'at is a witness who's really attended all the issues and all the process of this deal, actually. And we did mention his name in the earlier days of the hearings before my dear colleague that tried to, cancel this case by, and he filed a case for to stop this process. So
summary judgment.
Yes, summary judgment.
Yeah.
His name is Ahmed Sha'at. We have not put his written statement in the file. So
right.
But he will be available to attend.
Right. So it's one witness you're thinking of calling.
Yeah, of calling this Mr. Ahmed Sha'at.
Yeah.
I was thinking of contemplating also bringing the claimant, Mr. Khaldoon Al-Tabari, but he's in Jordan. I would be happy if Your Excellency will allow me also to bring him in. I don't mind. I would love to. This is actually as per the UAE law. This is all documented. All the evidence are evidence, and we don't need to just to support it. That's the only, because we are relying on the documents we signed by Mr. Mahdi.
Yes, well, it seemed to me at first blush that this was a matter which really did turn on the documents rather than on anything else.
True.
But if you're going to call evidence, then you need to serve witness statements so that we know what they're going to say in order to see whether or not there is any relevant evidence. At present, the defendants are saying they want to call Mr. Fathi. I don't know who Mr. Fathi is, except that he's served a witness statement, which doesn't seem to me to have any real relevance to the issues. It's mostly argument. He's senior legal counsel of the AMJAD group, as I understand it. So what I need to know from both of you is whether, in fact, this is a case that involves evidence at all, or whether it's simply a matter of argument on the documents.
So, Your Excellency, if I may assist,
Yes.
It comes to me as a bit of a surprise that Mr. Suwaidi is now at this very late stage saying that he's proposing on calling 2 witnesses of fact whose evidence has not yet been served. I hadn't seen a copy of the pre-trial checklist previously. I don't believe it had been served. It may have made its way into the hearing bundle, but there's certainly been no application to have additional witness evidence served. And now it's far too late in the day. We have a trial that is listed on the 7th and 8th of April. There was a direction within the agreed consent order in respect of witness statements, but it was a very limited permission that had been agreed within the scope of that consent order, namely that there was a amendment which the defendant had put forward to its defence, and within the scope of that, there was permission for the claimant to put in a reply if so advised, and then there was scope for a very short witness statement limited to dealing with the amendment issues to be filed by either party. That wasn't an invitation to the claimant to effectively put in completely new evidence in respect of all of the issues in the case. I mean, that would be quite remarkable in my submission if that was allowed at this very late stage, especially in the absence of any sort of application whatsoever.
Yes, well, I understand all of that. I mean, as I say, on reading the papers, it seemed to me this is really a matter that can be argued on the documents without the need for evidence at all. And I think Mr. Al-Suwaidi was indicating that a moment ago. So what we need is clarity about that, as to whether either side thinks they've got any relevant evidence that is materially going to affect the decision. Mr. Al-Suwaidi, what's your position on that?
Can I say, in Schedule A to Part 26 Case Management Information Sheet, issued date 17/11/2022.
Yes.
We have mentioned Mr. Ahmed Shad, an employee of the claimant, and Mr. Khaldun Tabari. We did mention their names. I don't know if it shows. It's not okay. Yes, now he's showing the name. So
well, I can't see that, but I can easily look it up.
I have to maybe. It's.
Don't worry, I can find it. I should be able to find
Schedule
it.
A to Part 26.
Yes. No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the basic question is, has anybody got any relevant evidence to give? And if so, they should have served a witness statement. That's the basis upon which trials proceed here.
Very true. Very true.
But unless you're saying you need him, I understood you to say that you thought the case was you rely on the documents.
Yes. This is.
Right.
This
well,
is.
I'm so sorry. You carry on.
I'm sorry. You carry on, please.
No, I was just going to say, unless therefore you're making an application to call a witness, I would think this was a case that can go ahead on the 7th and 8th of April with argument on the documents alone.
Very true. Very true.
Right.
Your Excellency, the issue is because, the defendant is bringing someone who is, I don't know, he's just, I don't think Mr. Fathi, I don't know if he's actually was there at the time of this deal took place, So because they brought this witness statement, which actually we object that even you can use witness statement to really to defute any written statements, But I mean, I said if he's bringing someone, I also bring someone. But this is not to contradict any written documents.
No, I understand. No, I understand that entirely. Well, I've read Mr. Fatty's statement. I mean, he's a legal counsel, and basically what he does is give his view about what the documents say. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that's going to help me very much, Mr. Mithani.
I hear what Your Excellency says. I mean, certainly, I would say that Mr. Fatty's evidence has some value because he was involved in the transaction at the time.
Yeah, but all he does is comment on the documents.
He does comment on the documents. Yes, he does. I appreciate he doesn't, for example, give evidence as to a particular conversation that took place with the other between himself and the other side's legal counsel or anything like that. It is for the most part commenting on documents.
Well, I don't see any purpose served in him being called, to be frank, Mr. Mithani.
Yes. It was certainly our intention to call him. If I hear what Your Excellency says, perhaps if I can have a moment to take instructions on that.
Well, let's come back to that, and you can have a moment when we've looked at some of the other questions. There are a number of things that I would like to be clear in my own mind about once we've got the witnesses point out of the way. The first is whether there is in fact agreement between the parties on the applicable law. Is there agreement that we're talking UAE law?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, very good. All right. And UAE law is going to be dealt with by you both arguing it in front of me,
Yes.
who is not a UAE lawyer.
I am
That
a
I
UAE
understand.
lawyer.
I know you are, but I'm not. I'm a DIFC lawyer,
Yeah.
but that's fine. I mean, as long as you're happy with that. Ordinarily, when we have a UAE law case, we have one of the local judges who is familiar with UAE law as well as DIFC law. But if you're content that I should deal with it and you advance the necessary arguments, that's absolutely fine by me. But what I would need to be quite clear about is the existence of any third-party beneficiary rule under UAE law. As I understand Mr. Al-Suwaidi's case, one of your cases, there is no such law, but I'm unfamiliar, so I don't know. Is that a major area of dispute between you?
This is what Mr. Mithani is arguing, okay?
Right.
But the law in the UAE law, UAE civil law, very plain and simple. Really, an agreement could confer rights, but it could not impose an obligations. Very simple
Understood.
words. And I think even
right.
in English law, I'm not say an English law expert, but I'm just saying that even apply over there,
Yeah. Well, I just want to know what the ambit of argument is, and plainly there is an argument there as to how this works for Vision Investment as opposed to any of the other parties, and we'll have to look at the LSA and the ALSA in order to see. What would help me is if the parties were able to produce a list of issues that arise as a matter of UAE law, which,
Okay.
as I say, partly the third-party beneficiary rule, as I call it.
Yes.
That's first of all. Then, secondly, the question of capacity of signature and how that works in the context of the defendant signing the LSA and the ALSA, and the impact of that on his personal liability as a guarantor, and so on and so forth. And then the illegality defense and the limitation defense, if they still arise. So I need to know whether those are live points that are being pursued, and if so, what the ambit of the dispute is. Now, would it be possible for you both to agree a list of the issues which arise, say in the next week or so?
Okay. It's fine with me. I could.
Yeah. Yes, Your Excellency. So, as Your Excellency has rightly pointed out, these are all live issues.
Right.
And both parties are very comfortable arguing them as matters of UAE law. I've happily been
in front of a DIFC judge. Right.
In front of the DIFC judge. I've been here for 16 years in the UAE, and certainly I have argued points of UAE law before DIFC judges.
It does happen.
It does happen.
Absolutely.
It does happen.
But I just that's fine by me.
If Your Excellency is comfortable, then we are comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I like to think I can decide anything as long as people put the right information in front of me. That's really what it comes to. So, list of issues is the first thing then that deals with that, and also the nature of the case in relation to the guarantee of the checks. I take it that there's a dispute as to whether there is a guarantee of the checks in themselves or a guarantee of the sums that are due if the checks are not paid. You follow the point. It's the nature of the guarantee that I'm quite interested in. Again, you can explore that in your list of issues.
Yes.
Now, are there any other orders that have been made prior to trial for the lead up to trial in relation to skeleton arguments and the like? I couldn't find any order for directions as such in the bundle that the electronic bundle.
Um,
And what we need to provide for, if it hasn't been done already, is for a bundle of documents to be organized. And I actually would like a hard copy bundle because I'm having real difficulty in downloading from the electronic bundle. And I'd like, certainly on the major documents, to have something I can download and print off if necessary. So what I would like to do is to make an order first for skeleton arguments to be served shortly before the hearing. And secondly, for a bundle of documents, an agreed bundle of documents, if there isn't one already, to be agreed, and then for some facility to be made available to me so I can download them and print them off. Or better still, someone can send me a hard copy.
Okay, is Mr. Mathani will be arranging this hearing bundles?
Well, I'm just asking, I'm raising the question as to how it might be done. But there will be an agreed bundle, I take it, between you that will form the bundle for the hearing that will be in electronic form on the DIFC case management system. Is that right?
Your Excellency, there will, and perhaps Mr. Swady hasn't had an opportunity to speak to his associate, Mr. Suri, although I have. And I understand that Mr. Suri is putting together a hearing bundle.
I see.
Because as claimant, of course, they have carriage of the bundle in the usual way.
Yes, very good. And when will that be done?
I understand it should be ready by the 31st of March, but no doubt Mr. Swady can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Mr. Rajiv is with me here. Are you sorry to say that he's actually with me? Did you manage? We're working on it. When it will be done?
I have
31st of December. I mean March. We can do 31st of March. I think we can.
All right. Well, I'm going to make an order then that the claimants procure the electronic bundle for the court by the 31st of March, and that the court make that available to me in such a form that I can either have a hard copy or download it and print it off myself. All right. So that solves that problem.
Okay, I was hoping that the defendant will, as he is the one really arguing all the things, thought he will be preparing that. I was just putting the, pressure on him to do that.
The usual rule in the DIFC is that the claimant does that. Claimant brings the claim, the claimant organizes the documents and makes sure everything's set up for trial. And then can we then have an order for skeleton arguments to be filed with the court, obviously following the agreed bundle of documents so that they can refer to it. We're looking at a hearing on the 7th and the 8th, which is, I haven't noticed what day of the week is the 7th and the 8th.
I think Monday and Tuesday.
Right. Just check that.
Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. 12.
Yes. So if Friday is effectively a working day, can you each file skeletons by close of business Dubai time on April the 5th?
Sure.
Yes.
Sure, we can do that.
Very good. All right. Well, if you do that, and make sure they get to me so I can read them over the weekend. That would be very helpful. Good. That's that.
The Eid holiday would be no, but we have to do it before.
As far as I'm concerned, that would appear to be it. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be covered. Mr. Al-Suwaidi, is there anything else that you need to raise with the court at this stage?
No.
Very good. And Mr. Mathani?
No, Your Excellency.
Very good. All right. Well, could you just draw up that order, Mr. Mathani? Sorry, Mr. Al-Suwaidi, and the court will finalise it and I'll approve it. So it's just relating to the bundle of documents and the skeleton arguments.
Okay.
And I think you've agreed a sort of timetable, have you?
Yes. Yes.
We have, although the timetable had envisaged evidence of
yes.
of
Now,
witnesses.
do you want to take some instructions about that, Mr. Mathani?
Yes.
I mean, at present, I've read his statement, and it doesn't seem to me really to add anything that you can't argue. Shall I just give you 5 minutes to talk to your client?
I'm grateful.
Right. We'll take a break for 5 minutes while he talks to his client. But
Sure.
You carry on.
Thank you. Your Excellency, so far I've had an opportunity to take instructions. Although our view is that Mr. Fatty's witness statement does do a little bit more than just comment on the documents. I appreciate that a great part of his witness statement does do that. And we take on board Your Excellency's observation that it doesn't really, it's not really something that's going to help you, because the case really does turn on the documents and an objective analysis of the documents, as opposed to what anybody thinks about the documents.
Exactly right here.
Yes, and that being the case, I mean, certainly if we were to say, that's say if the claimant and the defendant were to say that there isn't going to be any live evidence at the hearing, and we just proceed on the basis of submissions and documents, then we're happy to proceed on that basis.
Yes. Well, so is Mr. Al-Suwaidi, as I understand it.
Yes.
So that solves that. And that seems to me to mean that effectively, as far as the timing of the hearing is concerned, we'll simply open with the claimant making its submissions, the defendant make its submissions, and the claimant has a short right of reply in the usual way. And I can't see this taking more than a day, probably, but it may be the law is more complicated than I think it is. You will tell me, no doubt.
I suspect it isn't.
No.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Depending on his version of my version of the law.
Well, of course.
My version is very simple, straightforward.
Very good. All right. Well, I shall look forward to hearing the argument. So three things in the order that I'm making today. First is you produce a list of issues within 7 days. That's by the 24th of March. And then bundle by the 31st of March. And then the more I think about it, if I can have skeletons on the 4th of April rather than the 5th of April, that would be, do I mean the 4th of April? I mean the Thursday night, whatever that is.
Considering, because this is a Eid holiday, it's a Eid holiday the day before that. As we are now, we have booked 2 days, Monday and Tuesday.
Yes.
Would you think, Your Excellency, that maybe we can just move the things to Tuesday, and that will be enough?
If you think there's enough time.
Yeah, that would be enough time to do that. So we'll be having, at least Monday is a working day, and we'll be coming out of Eid holiday. So I think that would be a bit better.
Well, it all depends whether 1 day is going to be enough for the argument. If you're both agreed that 1 day is enough, then I'm very happy with that. What do you think, Mr. Mithani?
I think 1 day ought to be enough.
Yes. Yes.
So
All right. Well,
famous
let's
last words.
let's do that and fix on the 8th of April then. And if you produce your skeletons, when does Eid finish?
Eid will be 1 minute, please. Eid would be okay. I think because it will start Ramadan time is the same as now the normal. Yani they are exactly identical, you know. So the 30th, so 29th will start, which is then we'll have Wednesday 30th, and then first, second. Okay, so then you know, but I'm just saying that from the 29th till the 4th, that will be a Eid holiday, I assume. Not even 29th. I think it will be from 28th. So maybe that the whole week will be off.
All right.
So,
Well, can I suggest then that you you get your skeletons in on the Monday night, close of business Dubai time on the Monday night, and make sure they get sent to me on the Monday.
okay.
If it's close of business your time, it's slightly earlier in the UK, and I can read them then overnight. And we will have a hearing by video on the 8th of April.
Okay.
Your Excellency, if it assists Your Excellency to have the skeleton arguments earlier, I understand that Thursday and Friday are working days.
Is it working days?
Yes. So Thursday the 3rd and Friday the 4th. I'd certainly be happy for us to file skeletons on the 4th.
Well, I'd prefer that if they are working days, certainly.
Yes.
Yeah, but because for Friday, from what I've learned being in this country for a very long time, that usually Friday is a half working day. Thursday is between two work off days. That will be off. But I'm just saying what practically is happening. But we will try to do it as early as possible. In fact, before that, so you have enough time to read it, and hopefully we'll finish this as early as we can. Okay.
All right. So we're going to say the 4th of April then, and see how that works. See how that works out. If there's a problem, you can come back to me.
Okay.
All right. Anything else then?
Thank you.
I think not. Thank you both very much indeed. If you'd like to sign out, then I'll have a quick word with the associate.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.